All right, your time now, 8:36. During Women's History Month, we honor those who have made a difference in the world. And to shine a spotlight on one of our country's biggest trailblazers, here's our friend, nobody more important than Jimmy Alexander. Hey, James.
I don't think anyone's ever said that, Joe, but I will take the lie that you just told me. You know, this person that we're about to see more about, she said that service is the rent that we pay for the privilege of living on Earth. You know, you can call Shirley Chisholm many things. A trailblazer, as Joe mentioned, a hero, an icon. But the one thing she will always be called is the first.
First Black Congresswoman, first woman to run a nationwide campaign for the Democratic nomination for President of the United States, first Black person to run on a major party ticket. Shirley Chisholm, she's larger than life.
Larger than life is the perfect way to describe Shirley Chisholm. This former school teacher, who is known to be both unbought and unbossed, entered Congress in 1969 representing Brooklyn. And out of the 435 members, she was one of 10 women, which is why Shirley felt during her time in public service, she dealt with another discrimination more than she did racism.
Several times, Chisholm said, you know, the thing that has held me back in politics, and she was specific, she said, in politics, is more my sex than my race. Sometimes the people who she thought would be her friends, including other Black congressmen, were not her friends and, in fact, actively stood in her way in a way that racism didn't really.
During the 1972 election, George Wallace, who was best known for the Segregation Forever speech, was shot at a campaign stop in Laurel, Maryland. Shirley Chisholm shocked many by showing the former Alabama governor some kindness.
She went to Maryland and visited with him in the hospital for a little bit. The other part of it is that she was very strategic. She tried to pass minimum wage protections for domestic workers about a year later. And who did she have making phone calls to Southern congressmen on her behalf? Was George Wallace.
That's just an amazing story. Now, as she did decide to run for president, how did her fellow Democrats take her announcement?
Well, there was a wide range of responses to her announcement. Most of it was incredulous, sometimes angry. The Congressional Black Caucus said, wait a minute, we've been having these meetings to try to decide if a Black man should run, and how can you jump ahead of us like that? Yes, she had this lukewarm support from people inside politics, but the people who really supported her, Black women, and then there were young people, college students, they loved her because she just spoke the truth in a really plain way.
All discrimination, whether it's anti-woman or anti-Black, all discrimination is anti-human.
What I think is incredible is just how far we have come, though, because you said in 1969, when she first took office, there were 10 women.
10 women in the
House
and 1 in the Senate.
And now there's like well over 100 just in the House.
That's pretty impressive. And I do want to mention something, because Dr. Kerwood, the author of the book, said this, and I wanted to make sure that 2 people didn't, well, they deserve credit. In the Black Caucus, the Congressional Black Caucus, there were 2 congressmen who did welcome her with open arms, and that was John Conyers and Maryland's first African-American Congressman, Perry Mitchell. So both of those 2 men did welcome Shirley Chisholm with open arms. And there's something else. Have you ever heard of the WIC program, W-I-C?
Yeah.
That's the program that helps underprivileged young children get healthy food. And she made a deal with Bob Dole, conservative Bob Dole, and they are the 2 architects of the WIC program. So think of the millions of children that have been able to eat thanks to Shirley Chisholm.
And I love the quote that you ended on in that package. All discrimination is anti-human, which is so true. All right, Jimmy, it shows like how far we've come, but also how far we still have yet to go.
Absolutely.
All right, Jimmy Alexander live in the studio. Thanks so much as always, my friend. Really appreciate that great story.